And so we finally arrived at Chester. Beautiful historic town. We had a good chance to look around and see the sights, including walking the streets, and learn all about its history going back to before the Roman times. The streets were really interesting to look at, and even some of the local facilities were quite unique. And we managed to bump into some famous people. Well, one particular one, of course, Mr. Harriet. Beautiful cafe that we had a cup of tea in, and obviously had a chance to see some of the street life. The build up to this was immense. So basically, he blindfolds himself, and the very last hoop, I don't know if you can see, he actually lights it up, and he just manages to clear it, and that was his act. And I did it in slow motion because actually it was all over in about 2 seconds. So we had a very enjoyable 3 days in Chester, but then it was time to go and head back down the Shropshire Union. Here in Chester, the section just before the D, there are a set of staircase locks operated by a nice canal and river truss man. Earlier when we came down just to do some L-sand, it was pouring down with rain, but it's a bit nicer now. So we're at the bottom lock. Nice clear instructions as to what to do. The bottom lock should be empty when you're going uphill. The middle and top lock should be full. And then basically you empty the middle lock until the water's level, enter the middle lock, and then empty the top lock. And once those are level, you empty the top lock and then fill the top lock. Simple! And this is the top lock. Where we moored for a few days. Lots of nice pubs and restaurants. So here's an interesting scenario. We are at Banbury Staircase Locks, and this is a broken down hire boat, and we are in the middle chamber doing a bit of Tetris with boats. As this green one comes out, we're going to swap over.
Well, good morning.
you find me and Mandy aboard Destiny. Well, Mandy's actually up on the lock, the first lock, which is the trickiest lock at the start of the Llangollen. So we've just had a really enjoyable time on the Shropshire Union, and now we're getting ready to meet Rob a little bit later, and we're going to go down the end of the Llangollen. Dogs are having a good time as usual, so enjoy us with this little trip along the Llangollen. So we're right here, and as you can see, we've got 4 locks to negotiate to start off with, and then about a run of 5 or 6 miles before we get to the next lock, which is all the way down here. You're looking at a very, very relieved man, lady and 2 doggies. We're in the second lock of the rise on the Llangollen, and I didn't film any of it because I had too much of an audience and didn't really know what to do, and we had to focus and concentrate. But basically we got stuck coming up. Stuck for a good 45 minutes before a clever engineer came and know how to open and close the locks sufficiently to mean that the boat would drop down. We managed to have a second attempt to push the boat forward a bit, but basically my base plate, the base plate on the boat is a bit wider than the rubbing strip, and it was the base plate that was getting stuck. And I thought my dreams of completing the Llangollen, something I've wanted to do since I was 20 years old, I thought they were going to be shot to do it on my own boat, and I'd have to come back and do a hire boat. But credit where credit's due, the engineers and the guys at Canal River Trust, and particularly Steve, who came along, got us out of a sticky situation, and we are now on lock 2, going back up the flight, and our journey continues. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really. I'm relieved. I'm just hoping we get through these other locks. This one is a lot wider, but they were telling me that next year they're actually going to be repairing that bottom lock before you get back on the Shropshire Union, and it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But there you go. Trials and tribulations of having a narrowboat. No damage done. A little bit of paintwork rubbed off somewhere. Other than that, we are continuing our journey. Just to keep you updated, here we are, lock number 3, 2 and 1 down there, the one where we got stuck in, but we are progressing so far, so good. No CRT guy on this one, so it's on alright. Mandy doing a sterling job, and we've just got that one to go, and then we can get our way to Wrenbury. Mandy said, "You were looking very calm in that," and I said, "Yeah, I'm a bit like a swan, darling. Very graceful on the surface, but underneath my little feet are going dilly 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 dilly." Well, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day today, so we should be grateful of a nice bit of weather, and look forward to having a pint later with our dear friend Rob O'Keefe, the legend that is. Just want to say hi again to Gary. Gary, thanks so much for your little hints and tips when we did the Chester route. Thanks for mentioning me on your channel. This obviously will be a bit later because I'm way behind on my edits. Yeah, good luck in your travels, and hope to see you again. And finally, we're in lock number 4 on the 4-lock rise on the Llangollen. And CRT guy on this one. It's a bit of a delay on our journey. We are progressing. We are progressing. So these are called the Hurlston locks. and I'm one relieved captain going back up, or going up here. We've just got to do some organisation when we come down. So the first part of the Llangollen has been completed. We're here at the Cotton Arms, which is in Wrenbury, a couple of villages down on the first part of the Llangollen. We've done 9 locks today. First 4 were quite traumatic, of course, and then there was a set of 2 and then a set of 3 locks, and we're just here having a pint of this local cider and just waiting for Uncle Rob. But a bit quiet at the moment, but then it is a bit early. But sun's been shining today, and we're looking forward to a nice trip, continuing down to see what other pubs are along the way.
Hey, dude!